I want transformation. What does that really mean?
So when you are having the chaos, what are you doing to dig a little deeper?
Things are in place for us to truly wake up.
Well, I think there is no doubt. Well, first of all,
Good morning.
Morning, hi. There is no doubt I am getting a tap on the shoulder from guides from this morning to my dream. Yeah. So today was the woodpecker on top of the house.
Yeah.
And
you had a weird dream last night, though, too.
Yeah, I did have a weird dream last night. Maybe because the veil's really thin. Maybe there's just more activity. And I think I'm getting that push that sometimes I'm in resistance, right? Like, I don't want to make changes. I don't want to show up differently.
What don't you want to change?
I don't know.
I feel like we're always changing.
So I looked up woodpecker because it was knocking on our
pecker
on our fireplace up on the roof. We've got 3 fireplaces, and the top of the fireplace had the stuff that kind of protects.
Cover.
Yeah, the cover was all turned around. Yeah, so that was interesting. We have to have someone look at it. But it means perseverance, communication, and transformation. It's all about overcoming challenges, spiritual growth, the connection to Earth's heartbeat, the relentless tapping, find food to create a home, or create a home symbolizing determination and the strength to keep going until your goal is achieved. And in Native American traditions, the drumming can interpret messages from the spirit world, so pay attention. Of course, transformation seems to be my theme. So not last night, but the night before, I had a dream about the Orca well. And it's about transformation, diving deep. We talked about it in our class last night, which was really great in our community. And all the messages from that was really cool. And what was interesting, again, the Native American culture came in because what they believe regarding the Orca wells is that when someone dies or drowns in the Northwest, is that they can become an Orca well. That's kind of a spiritual belief. And I drowned in the Northwest when I was 2. So I started putting all these great things together, and it's about diving deep, going deep within, and finding that whole idea of transformation. And I know that you've been doing some research because we've had so much going on in the last 6 weeks.
Yeah, probably longer than that, but yeah, for sure. And I want to talk about that because it has to do with the heartbeat too of Mother Earth. So you brought up the heartbeat of Mother Earth, which to me that's another symbol. But when you were talking about this transformation, that word, another one of my word problems. There's such a thing around that word transformation. So I want to get your take on it. So transformation, people use that, they like throw that word around. Like, I want transformation.
Our favorite show. 9 Perfect Strangers.
People came into 9 Perfect Strangers. They came into this retreat center using that word. Like, I want transformation. And what does that really mean? Like, people think that transformation is this like light-filled,
it's going through the birth canal.
Angels, like we transform. That's people think that literally.
And this is just honey from one of our individuals in our community, Deb Sarno.
Yes,
she does her own honey. Is that the way
she has hives?
She has hives, so she doesn't make.
And we'll get back to transformation, but I got this amazing,
beautiful bag
that Deb made me.
Not me, Deb Sarno.
This is for sourdough. It keeps it fresh longer, and it's beeswax. So she handmade this bag, but she also soaked it in beeswax. So it will keep our bread longer.
Yes, isn't that beautiful?
Bread. Yes, I can't wait to use it.
So
I haven't
had an
our
community. Yeah.
So all about the bees.
So transformation, in my opinion, is like going through the birth canal without any epidurals, I say.
It hurts.
It hurts. It's you're having this expansion go on, but your body can hurt. You can be restless, not be able to sleep. You can have headaches, ringing in your ears, conflict showing
Dizziness.
up. So it's there to wake you up and say, it's time for a change. So it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Now, the whole goal is when you get on the other side of it, you're like, yeah.
Well, and it's a cycle.
Yeah.
It's like when you go through, it's the wheel of the year. It goes back to the moon, the cycles of the moon, the wheel of the year, how everything is a cycle. And we talk about the spiral a lot. We go inward at certain times of the year, and then we radiate outward at certain times of the year. So it's always a cycle. So with transformation, it's like, it's not easy.
No.
It's hard. And it's super uncomfortable at times.
And I'm wondering, because as I'm getting all these messages in this last week, especially with the intensity that we've had with our lessons and our shadow work, and boy, it feels like I'm being squeezed. And I know that's the same you're feeling. What is on the other side as well? You know, how do we know what the universe's plan is or what our contract was? Like, I signed up to go through these things to learn, but you don't get to see that visual of what that's going to look like. And I think, generally speaking, most of us, especially those on a spiritual path, want to become the best versions of themselves. They want to go through and make certain changes for expansion. But at the same time, oh my goodness, it's a lot. But, you know, even like changing, I did some reading the other day about how coffee may make me more tired because I'm tired a lot. So I'm drinking green tea. I'm making another change. Even though it's subtle, it's adapting to change, adapting to looking at life in a different perspective. And it's not always easy. It's not always easy. And then you've been doing some, we kind of touched on it, the research on the universe. What's going on astrology-wise?
Well, not to go deep into like the specific astrology, but what's happening is we're in this 11-year cycle that the sun goes through where it emits more electromagnetic energy. You know, it shoots more of that at the earth. And on top of that, we're in this evolution or we're passing through a specific planetary alignment that puts us in the Aquarian age. And we've heard about this, the age of Aquarius, all the, you know, the meanings behind that. But it is a scientific thing that we our universe is moving through these ages.
And what does it do to us?
Well, so what's happening is we as a collective, humanity as a collective, is going through a transformation, and it's painful. And as we can see, it's out there. Just energetically, we're all in chaos. A lot of people, I want to say everyone, but a lot of people are in chaos. And that chaos is supposed to help us evolve individually.
You're like, what do you mean I have to evolve with chaos? But it's bringing to attention, right? The things that we need to look at that we're ignoring. We can't put our blinders on anymore. And what happened, this happened before, was it like
248 years ago, I believe, yeah.
During the revolution. So when we look at those time periods that it's coming up again, it is to shake things up for decisions to be made.
And I think the difference is we have now more scientific data and things are in place in a different way now for us to truly wake up.
And what does that?
So that means that we can connect to the universe, to our body, our soul at a different level.
Our guides. I mean, that's where, obviously I've been doing this work for a long time. And there are times where you just sort of, you feel it, you just kind of go along. I always say, you go along the river in that little boat, things are great. And now I'm hitting the rapids. But at the same time, it is the things like the intense dreams. It is the animal that's on your roof saying, hey, wake up, we got to talk to you about some things. And that's encouraging people to look at things, to become more curious. We always talk about the word curious. Just be curious. So when you are having the chaos go on or things showing up in your life, what are you doing to dig a little deeper? How do you dig in and go, what does this really mean? And that's where the transformation is how do we know how to make a transformation? What is it that we're transforming? And I can look at a lot of my patterns and my habits that are probably not serving me anymore. And if my body's energy is fluctuating and changing, I have to find that alignment with it again. And that's not always easy.
Right.
It's uncomfortable for a little period of time.
Yeah, and it can get a little muddy because you can feed into the chaos versus look at it as this is my lesson and what am I learning? What did I sign up to learn?
And I think what you're saying is, do we let the chaos become drama? Talking about it, making ourselves the victim.
Disconnecting from it.
Yeah, becoming resistant. I just don't want to deal with that. And if we can do the archetype that we talk about in Soul's Contracts, is becoming the observer. Can you step back and see another viewpoint? Can you have this, if it was someone else's story, what would you be thinking about it? What would you do with that information?
And I know this is through our evolution, but how did we get so disconnected from what's around us? How did we, as humans, how did we start to see just what's in front of us versus the big picture? Like we stopped using our tools. We stopped being in alignment with the planets and the universe.
Well, if you look at how
Earth
life has evolved, people relied on their community.
Yeah.
And your community stayed in that area for generations. And then we got to be in a society that's drive through. Let me just drive through and get my food and get my nourishment. And let me listen. We multitask and we feel like we're expanding, but we're actually just overcompensating. Let me do all of this, and then guess what I've been doing?
Yeah, my to-do list.
And I've seen people talk about how with the work that they're doing, but is it a show or is it really the deep work?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
And I think that we disconnect to say, well, this is me and this is you, and here I am.
That separation.
That separation versus being able to witness somebody going through their transformation, being supportive, being a cheerleader,
and
being connected.
To fix it at the same time.
Not easy.
No.
But I know that when I see someone going through their growth and expansion, and I see this transformation, and they go, oh my, it's like the lights go on and their energy expands, and you see this beautiful soul, and you're like, there you are. And what's interesting, I sometimes, and we can see that in them, but they can't always see it in themselves. And that's why we just try to be there as much as possible for that person to say, we're going to hold this for you to see when you can align with that.
That's how I felt about your teaching last night with your dream in the orca whales. Is like the storytelling is for them to align with that energy. It's like teaching through stories.
Yeah.
And that's community. To me, that's community, is how you teach through stories and through sharing and that.
Well, I can talk briefly about my dream last night. It wasn't quite the transformation. Beautiful. So I was telling Dana earlier, I'm at this kind of a bar, I guess is the best place to say, restaurant bar. There's a lot of people. And I'm over in this one area where I'm doing readings for people. And people are drinking and partying. And this... In a bar. It's really noisy. And I can probably interpret that right there. And then this lady...
What's the interpretation?
Let me finish this and I'll go back. Don't forget. This lady kind of behind me is yelling out her hits. don't ask them about the red sofa. And I'm like trying to manage all this emotion and people yelling. And then I'm having trouble talking in the microphone and my teeth start falling out. And Dana comes up and starts, helping me through it and focusing and telling people to be quiet as I am trying to tell this guy. And I remember his father coming through and very detailed. What was your question about why?
Yeah, what's the interpretation of, because you said you're doing readings in a bar.
Yeah.
And it's chaos.
I think it's also looking at how to help people when they're in chaos. Mm-hmm. I don't think everyone listens.
No.
When they're in their own chaos.
So they're all drunk.
They're all drunk.
That's the metaphor?
But if you think about, I think there's a lot of layers to that dream. But the first thing I go to is when you're trying to help people when they're not focused on their healing. Mm-hmm. Or am I giving a message to somebody that's not ready to hear it? And all the noise and distractions that we all have. What we just said, we're all so distracted.
Not ready to hear it. That
not
makes
ready
a lot
to hear
of
it.
sense. Yeah.
And
because sometimes people are not ready to.
No, I'm not ready to hear it.
They want the word transformation in their life, but they don't know what that actually means. And so they're like, no.
I can say that for myself. Sometimes I'm like, I don't want to make these changes yet. Things are fine just the way they are. Why do we have to change them?
Same.
Yeah. So transformation is a big deal. And I know
I don't want to go to Google Documents.
We all have that place where, why do we have to make change? Why do I have to hear? And if we're not hearing it, our inner self, our inner wisdom, if we're not listening to our guides or the universe, whatever you believe in, because there's so much going on, you're not going to have transformation. And I think most people do want to grow, and they do want to become more enlightened, and they want to expand. It's just a lot of work. And my biggest piece of advice for anybody, including myself, is don't do it alone. As you've said in the past, community is medicine.
It is.
And that's what we believe in.